Hi, I'm Alex Gay.
And I'm James Eister. Welcome to the Monday Night Roar.
Thanks for tuning in. We have your latest news, entertainment, and sports.
All that and more coming up on the Monday Night Roar.
First, your Clemson news. Welcome back, everyone. Now that classes are in full swing, hopefully everyone has gotten their schedules sorted out and finalized. If, however, you are currently finding yourself stuck in a horrible class, now might be the right time to get out. This Wednesday is the last day of the spring semester to drop classes without receiving a W grade. W grades can negatively impact your financial aid, so if you need to get out of a class, remember this Wednesday.
On Thursday, Clemson officials began construction for a $21.5 million building that will permanently change South Carolina's engineering landscape. President Clements, along with Anita Zucker, Jonathan and Laura Zucker, who the building will be named after, celebrated the commencement of construction. The 70,000 square foot Zucker Family Graduate Center is scheduled to be finished by fall of 2016. It will be located at the Clemson University Restoration Institute in North Charleston on what used to be a naval shipyard. When the doors open, the building will offer master's and PhD degrees in engineering. The goal is for the program to grow to about 200 students, 12 faculty, and 40 researchers and staff.
It is no doubt that lasers are a hot, rapidly growing technology as of late. Clemson University researcher Liang Dong is constantly searching for ways to better laser technology. Lasers have recently gained some popularity in military applications as people have discovered ways of focusing them to eliminate targets from a laser apparatus mounted on a boat. Dong, however, whose team works to make the optical fibers that go into lasers, is excited to see the uses lasers have and will have in manufacturing settings. Lasers can be used to cut, drill, and weld materials in ways that conventional tools simply can't. Dong was recently elected a Fellow of the Optical Society and will continue work with his team to pave the way for better lasers and their countless future applications.
On Thursday, Clemson University police arrested 19-year-old Anthony Joseph Rizzo on felony marijuana charges. The Simpsonville native was charged with possession with intent to distribute within a proximity of the school. Rizzo was arrested in his residence hall. He was released Friday on a $10,000 personal reconnaissance bond.
Hats off to all the volunteers who brought Clemson University a win for the 2014 Game Day Recycling Challenge during the football game against USC last year. We all work hard to help keep our beautiful campus clean, but thanks to the efforts of these volunteers, Clemson was able to collect more than 60,000 pounds of recyclable material on game day that probably would have otherwise gone to a landfill. This accomplishment brought us a first place in the total recycling category out of 90 participating colleges.
William Billy Edwards, director of the Center for Behavioral Analysis at Clemson, was featured at the 4th annual TEDx Columbia SC today. TED is a nonprofit organization whose ultimate goal is to spread ideas in the form of short, powerful talks, which usually last around 18 minutes. At the Center of Behavioral Analysis, Edwards was responsible for creating, directing, and assisting the implementation of the center services. It is an incredible honor to have been invited to be a part of such a prestigious event, and particularly exciting to have the opportunity to discuss the needs of those with autism and other neurological disorders on a day when we celebrate the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his efforts to bring about equality for all people, Edwards said. Now let's check in with Gabby Bates for sports. Gabby?
The Clemson men's basketball team was able to knock off Syracuse on Saturday in Littlejohn Coliseum 66-53. Dante Grant led the team scoring with 16 points. Rod Hall and Jerron Blossomgame were each able to put up 15 for the Tigers. The Tigers were able to put up 39 points in the first half of the game to give them a 21-point lead at halftime. Right after tip-off, the Orange was able to score to put them in the lead, but the Tigers were able to come right back with a layup by Blossomgame and a jumper by Hall. Clemson was able to get 13 offensive rebounds. The Tigers will face Florida State tonight at 9 p.m. in Littlejohn. After two good games last night, the Patriots and the Seahawks will advance to the Super Bowl. The Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers put on a show last night during the NFC Championship with a head-to-head battle to the advancement to the Super Bowl. The Seahawks were able to get their victory over the Packers with a score of 28-22, but it was a tough battle. The Packers were able to pull off a 16-0 lead going into halftime, but Seattle was able to come right back after halftime. It was late in the fourth quarter that the Seahawks were able to gain their momentum. A recovered onside kick by Seattle helped give them a touchdown and a two-point conversion to put them in the lead for the first time of the game. With just a few minutes left in the game, the Packers were able to get a 48-yard field goal to tie the game up and put the Seahawks and Packers in overtime. The Seahawks were able to get the first possession, which put Green Bay at a disadvantage. The Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson was able to throw a 35-yard shotgun pass to Jermaine Kearse. The AFC Championship was not as head-to-head as the NFC, but it was still a good run for both teams. The Patriots were able to pull off an early lead with 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. The Colts were able to have a slight comeback with 1 touchdown in the second quarter, but the Patriots answered with a field goal, giving the Patriots a 10-point lead going into halftime. After halftime, the Patriots were able to score 3 touchdowns in the third quarter and entered the final quarter with a 38-7 lead. After another touchdown, the Patriots were able to go out with a 45-point score and the Colts with only a 7-point score. That's all I have for your sports. Now back to you guys.
Thanks, Gabby. Now your national news. It is a well-known fact that Elon Musk, CEO of California-based SpaceX, has some pretty grandiose dreams. His most recent idea definitely keeps that trend going. Musk plans to launch a collection of about 700 small satellites into near-Earth orbits to give the planet global internet coverage. With this plan, Musk plans to provide not only internet access to remote areas of the world, but to rival speeds of existing fiber networks. However, Musk's plan doesn't end there. He also wants to apply this idea to future colonies on Mars to give them a communications network.
2 teenagers responsible for several crimes were arrested Sunday morning in Panama City Beach, Florida. U.S. Marshal Service and local police found 18-year-old Dalton Hayes and 13-year-old Cheyenne Phillips asleep in a 2011 Toyota Tundra that was stolen in Henry County, Georgia, Grayson County officials say. The 2 teens, who have been dubbed a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde, vanished January 3rd from their small Kentucky hometown. The 2 then blazed a trail through South Carolina and Georgia. The teens will be extradited back to Florida, where they will face charges of burglary, theft, criminal trespassing, and criminal mischief. Hayes made his first appearance in court today.
Last Tuesday, a California man was scooped up by a garbage truck on its way to the landfill. The man was reportedly searching for his wallet in a trash bin when the truck came by and swept him up. The man was in the truck for about 3 hours and told officials he used lumber in the truck to climb upward to avoid the compactor. He was able to escape the pile at the landfill and got out unscathed.
At least 5 people were killed in the Northeast Sunday due to rain flash freezing on the roads. When light rain falls on a cold surface like the roads, it creates a blanket of ice, which is highly dangerous to people driving. A 30 to 50 car pileup on Interstate 76 killed 1 person. 2 others were killed in a crash on nearby Interstate 476. The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation spokesman Eugene Blom called the road conditions very hazardous and urges people to stay off the roads by all means. In New Hampshire, parts of major roads have been closed. However, in many northeastern roads are still open. Highway patrolmen are telling people to drive at their own risk.
Oklahoma State University's Department of Agricultural Economics conducts a food demand survey every month to gather consumer preferences about food. The survey targets a sample of at least 1,000 individuals meant to match the overall population of the U.S. The most recent survey showed one particular interesting result. Unsurprisingly, 82% support mandatory labels on products containing GMOs. However, 80% support mandatory labels on products containing DNA. Literally every living thing contains DNA. The survey results show that most people don't understand the difference between DNA and GMOs and just how prevalent the stigma of GMOs is in our society. These results may serve as a sign that we need to push education and knowledge of our food products.
After 65 long years of saving pennies, 81-year-old Ira Keys deposited $81 81,600 of them at a bank in Slayton, Texas. Key's collection weighed nearly 500 pounds. Prosperity Bank employees spent more than an hour counting the collection. Carrie Lewis, a personal banker at Prosperity, said the collection was unlike anything she'd ever seen. Key says his father once said to him, "Whatever you do, son, save your money." And Keyes clearly took it to heart. He began his collection all the way back in 1952, a time when he says he didn't have much money. Even after making this enormous deposit, Keyes claims he will continue collecting pennies. Now here's John Oliver Valentin with your latest entertainment news, and Freddie Pope with the newest movies on Redbox, Netflix, and in theaters.
Don't worry, you're not going colorblind. MTV said they'll broadcast all their shows on the network in black and white as part of a #TheTalk campaign. This campaign is being led in order for people to talk about race. MTV will feature commentary from stars including Kendrick Lamar, Common, Big Sean, Pete Wentz, and Jordan Sparks. #TheTalk began this morning at 9 a.m. Betty White had quite the celebration for her 93rd birthday this weekend. Her assistant orchestrated a flash mob hula dance on the set of the show Hot in Cleveland. Of course, the other stars of the show, Valerie Bertinelli, Jane Leeves, and Wendy Malick, all engaged in the dance. White says, at 93, you shouldn't be doing this. Fox announced Julianne Hough and Vanessa Hudgens will star in the upcoming Grease Live. Hough will play Sandy while Hudgens will play Rizzo. However, Fox has not announced who will play Danny Zuko or the other T-Birds. Grease Live will premiere January 31st, 2016 on Fox. Amber Rose said her family did not attend her wedding to Wiz Khalifa because of his race. Khalifa is an African-American rapper. However, Amber revealed her family believes their race is superior. Amber Rose is biracial. Her mother is black and her father is white. And although it seems like an interesting time that she revealed this about her marriage, because the couple is now filing for divorce after only 2 years of being together. So I guess Forever and Always does have a time restriction. This past Monday marked the beginning of the E! Channel's Fashion Police with Kathy Griffin. Although Griffin's humor is different to that of the genius style of Joan Rivers, her performance was superb on the show. Fashion Police returns with a new episode tonight, beginning at 9 p.m. on E! Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, guys. Hello, and welcome back to Showtimes. We provide you with all the important movie news from the couch to the theater. We cover movies coming to Redbox, theaters, Netflix, and Amazon Prime. Redbox, Amazon, and Netflix all have nothing notable, but their extensive selection is always there. In theaters this week is The Boy Next Door, where an affair between high school teacher Jennifer Lopez and her high school-aged lover surprisingly goes poorly. Also out this week, the ever-quirky Johnny Depp plays the English version of Inspector Clouseau in Mordecai. Out already is American Sniper, about American hero Chris Kyle, played by a very fit Bradley Cooper. Also out is the revival of cartoon classic Paddington. If you are aimed towards comedy, though, The Wedding Ringer, starring Kevin Hart, is out now. And finally, in celebration of Martin Luther King Day, everyone should go see the Oscar-nominated Selma. Thank you for tuning in, and watch next week for more updates. Back to you guys.
Thanks, John Oliver and Freddie. After the tragic terrorist attacks in Paris last week, the streets of Paris are not as packed by tourists as they so often are. Despite the safety and extra security presence, the lines at the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre are a fraction of their usual lengths. While no official numbers have been released, vendors at tourist sites have noted a decrease in visitors.
Last Thursday, Masha, a communal cat in the town of Obninsk in the Kaluga region of Russia, saved a baby from freezing to death. After hearing loud cries, a local woman opened her door and saw the cat cuddled up with a child. The baby had apparently been abandoned in the streets, and the cat climbed into the box that the baby had been discarded in and snuggled up to him to keep him warm. A hospital spokesman told Central European News that thanks to Masha, the baby was not damaged by the experience. The baby was rushed to a hospital where he was given a checkup. Doctors declared him healthy and fit. Masha is a local hero. Residents have been rewarding her by giving her all her favorite foods.
According to separate analyses by NASA and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration scientists, 2014 ranks as the warmest measured year since 1880. While the trend does continue toward warming, weather patterns can cause year-to-year fluctuations in temperatures. Since 1880, the average global temperature has gone up by about 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
More than 20 people, including foreigners, are missing after a tugboat sank on the Yangtze River in Beijing Thursday afternoon. Among those who died were people from Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, India, and Japan. The tugboat, which was built back in October, was reportedly going through sea trials when it sank. The boat's owner and technicians are still missing. Rescuers say strong currents and cold water made their efforts all the more difficult, but they did the best they could.
After a brief scare aboard the ISS last week, order has been restored and all is well. 2 NASA astronauts and 1 ESA astronaut were forced to leave the U.S. segment of the space station and isolate themselves in the Russian segment after an alarm indicated a possible ammonia leak. After tests were run, it was determined that there was no ammonia leak and the false alarm was caused by a fault in the systems. The crew was able to return to the U.S. segment and continue their work.
A Chinese man has been reunited with his family after 24 years. In 1991, Soon Bin was taken by child traffickers while he was at a vegetable market when he was just a toddler, and he was sold to a family thousands of miles away. His parents searched for him for years, but eventually gave up. Chinese police say child traffickers target boys because they can carry on the family line. On Tuesday, Soon was reintroduced to his father, now 60 years old, and a younger sister whom he'd never met. "I was happy and grateful," Bin's father said, but a little bitter. Soon Bin isn't sure what he'll do, but he says he's happy to be with his biological family again, after all this time. Finally, let's check in with my twin, Stormy Steve, for the weather. Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at your weather for the rest of the week. It got up to 67 today, so it was quite warm. That's pretty much the story for the rest of the week. Highs in the mid-60s to upper 50s, lows in the mid to upper 30s, so it's going to be kind of warm for the rest of the week. No chance for rain. Some clouds in the skies, but still no rain this week, so it'll be a pretty good week. Right now outside your window, it is 54 degrees outside, clear skies, winds out of the southwest at 5 miles per hour, so it is kind of breezy outside, and humidity of 20%. Taking a look at your radar, pretty much the same story. There is no rain in the area. Might see a few clouds later this week, but that's about it. And now, where are average things made in the Satisfactory? And very mean people work there. Now back to you guys.
The Clemson.
Thanks, Stormy Steve. That's all for tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Be sure to like our Tigervision Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. Have a great night, and remember, stay classy, Clemson.